right, this is the silver lining recap of UConn versus Maryland. In this video, there will be minimal discussion of AZ Fudd, just wishing her all the best. I did this video on her knee injury and sort of my doom and gloom predictions, which are hopefully wrong. If you want to have a deep dive, then that's the video to go for. In this video, it is all about the good, or should I say great things that came out of UConn's blowout victory by 32 points over Maryland. We will take a look at Aubrey Griffin and how she's a difference maker on defense. Paige Bueckers shows why she is a star as well. We will break down the freshman performances, which included Ashlyn Shade showing why she is going to be a fan favorite and how Brady broke the ice. Yes, terrible pun. I apologize. Before we start, if you like the content, then subscribe. If you like the video at the end, then please give it a like. And if you don't, then hell, give me your poison. I can take it. Now first, I can only imagine how ugly the week was for UConn players. Oh my God, Gino must have been very, very cranky, coach. The film session was reportedly an hour and 45 minutes, which consisted probably of looking over and over again of all the screw-ups from the game before and their misassignments on defense and talking about how we've gone through this and blah, 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 and then further disruption with Fudd suffering her knee injury after training or at the end of training on Tuesday. Now, obviously, the injury to AZ Fudd resulted in a lineup shift, and Aubrey Griffin was put into the starting lineup. I would love to go into the DeLorean time machine, or I guess it's more actually sliding doors, and see what the starting lineup would have been if Fudd was not injured. Or better yet, maybe we can give Gino some truth serum and see what it would have been, as I think she made it pretty clear against Maryland that she needs to be starting and not coming off the bench. Now, some will argue, and I know this argument already, hey, she still would have gotten a hell of a lot of minutes and would have been 30 to 35, and he wanted to bring her off the bench to be a change of pace. I don't see that. I would rather have sort of, I think when you do that, you usually do it with an offensive player. Like you want an offensive player to come in off the bench, give you a burst of energy and points. But with Griffin, she does everything well. I'd want that from the jump and have my best defensive player on the court. And that is precisely what she gives you, is great help defense and great on the ball defense as well. So immediately there was a play where she was at the top of the key and came down to cover the mistake to block the shot. And she beat Desharm there, and it was like, wow, that's what you need. That should have been in the starting lineup from the very beginning. And I don't know who you would have taken off, if it would have been Desharm or Fudd or Nika. But either way, I think it's a no-brainer that hopefully from here on in, the experiment of Aubrey Griffin coming off the bench is done, dead, won't happen again. Now, the next one is Paige Bueckers, and yes, I'll throw flowers at her, but early on in the game, it was quite apparent they weren't scared of going after her on offense. Like they were attacking her a bit. There were two straight shots made over her, like one they drove down to the baseline, then there was another one up at the top of the key, and she gives you so much. You're gonna suffer that, and it wasn't like she was dreadfully out of position or anything like that. And then at the end of the first, with Maryland coming back and in the game after they made that three-pointer, you could feel the crowd getting antsy at the start of the first and going, what is going on here? This was not how the script was written. AZ's injured, and they're starting to give it to us. Oh my God. You just feel the antsiness in the crowd. If you're there, tell me I'm wrong, because you'd have more knowledge than me, but that's what it seemed like when I was watching it and listening to the crowd. Just sort of had an edginess to it, like, what is going on? Are we about to see UConn go down again? And then Beckers takes the finger to the eye, and it's like, ooh, this has all the makings of just the season blowing up early. Your two best players injured. I didn't think Becker's injury was serious. I thought she would come back, but obviously she was in discomfort. But your two best players, in theory, for preseason rankings, and they're on the bench. and Maryland starting to at least hold their own in the game early on. And you're like, oh, is the upset on? And is this just going to be a horrific start for UConn? But then Superwoman to the rescue. I think Beckers comes on about the 7:24 mark or maybe 7:43 mark in the second quarter. And then they get a really nice lineup and go on a really nice run. The score was 18-23 at the 5:39 mark. And they had Beckers on, Ashlyn Shade, KK, Edwards, and Ice. And that group just dominated to the end of the half and turned the game around. And Gino spoke about it at the press conference, just saying, that's what Beckers gives you. She took 3 freshmen and just sort of willed them on. She had that nice poke away steal, drawing the and one. I thought that was a dirty shot, by the way. I thought she undercut her. I couldn't believe she was arguing that foul. But anyway, got that and just got them going and does everything right. And that's why if you have Paige Bueckers, you have hope. That's the one thing I know everybody's throwing flowers at South Carolina, but who is their star? I didn't look at their last game. I think Raven went off. Is Raven Johnson that star? I don't know. I need to look at it. But that's the thing that gives UConn and Iowa hope, is they have that player that's unstoppable and will draw to and then know how to make the other players better and give the pass. If they come with that double or triple team, Beckers will make other people better. Now, of the freshmen, the one that put on the biggest show, I would say, would be Ashlyn Shade. She finally got some playing time, and she made the most of it. She got 15 minutes. She was 4 for 7, and it seemed like she was making her shots, but actually she was only 1 for 4 from the three-point line. But the thing about her is she just does everything well. She brings up the ball well, and then on defense, she just does the right thing. And that's what impressed me, is you saw a few times there was a pick up high. They tried to run a double stagger. So she's fighting the top pick, then fights through the second one, then has to switch, which is fine. And then you can see her eyes working and finding the person she needs to block out. And that's what she gives you, is that awareness and that hustle on defense that Gino and the fans will love, no doubt. Now, KK Arnold, her initial impact was limited, and Gino said when she came off after her first run, he was like, what did you do out there? What impact did you make? And then you could see the change of mindset when she got back on again, as she was attacking the basket. Like, they would swing it when they were playing zone, and she would go down the seam and either take it and try to draw the layup and one, or give the dish. And that's how she's going to have an impact. The one problem with her game, it's pretty obvious, is you can't trust her shot right now. She's had the ones I remember in my mind have been air balls or really bad bricks. But from what I see, her mechanics don't look awful or anything like that. She's just going to have to put up more shots over summer, and hopefully that will come in time. But her impact right now is you bring the ball up and get it to the people or the other players, or you get it and there's a seam, you attack that and either draw the and one or give the dish to a big. And then if UConn's facing like another team that has like a pain in the bum point guard that's really quick, they can just sit KK on her, because, man, she has a lot of foot speed to burn and should be able to stay up with the top point guards. Now, Ice Brady, I love that she got some time with Edwards. They ran a little bit nice high-low. I think one time Edwards popped her the pass and she made the layup. The thing with her is, even in this game, she seemed a little bit fumbly at times with the ball when trying to get rebounds and seemed to be falling down a little bit. She had a few times where she fell over. But my big takeaway, tell me if you agree with this or not, but that she was willing to mix it up. It seemed like she was scrapping more, running the court harder, and just everywhere. I can't imagine the coaching she would have gotten this week. So it seemed like she was ready to play and make a point, and that was a really positive development. And I thought her playing with Edwards was a positive development as well. In terms of her numbers, she got 13 minutes and was 2 for 4, and she had 3 rebounds. So, yeah, that's fine, 5 points. And something to build on, because they are going to need her desperately to develop as the season progresses. The last one is Cadence Samuel. So she came off the, great game against NC State, and now this game, not so much. She got 10 minutes, went 0 for 4 with 2 points, and basically that is what you are going to get from Samuels is she's going to be great some games and not so great others. But as Gino says, at least she knows who the hell she is. Once she gets on the court, she's shooting come hell or high water. If they go in, everybody overlooks everything else and says, my God, we love her shot. Let's get her out there. We need the points. But if she's not hitting her shots, then like in the NC State game, when the player drove at the end on FUD and she was help defense, like she didn't even look to help. I mean, that was just devastating. She looked a little bit better on defense today, but that is a work in progress raw. And I think it will really be, starting to go into the other players now. Between her and Descharme, that is your small forward essentially. And I think he's just going to say, hey, which hand is hot? And that's the one I'm going to play most in this game. And speaking of Descharme, she did not have a particularly good game. She started and was limited to 11 minutes compared to the other starters. Edwards, who got 35, Beckers 30, Mule 26, and Griffin, who got 28 minutes. She missed a couple of layups, and it was just like, oof, those, like, there was a layup that it was just a dead setter she should have had. There was another one as well. And then on defense, there was a back pick where she got back picked and didn't or she didn't switch. There was a back pick, and she should have switched, and she didn't do it. And basically, it seems like Gino's resigned that you don't know, at least at this stage, what you're going to get from Descharme. He was saying, at shoot-around today, she couldn't miss. So I thought she was going to have a blinder of a game, but then she comes out and does that, and I'm just sort of going to accept it for what it is. He said, yep, she's definitely starting next game, and we need to run with that because she's such a key part of what we want to do moving forward. Again, I understand why she's such a key piece. I just don't know if you're chasing something that's not going to happen. That's my fear. I did it in that Descharme video that I did. And I know like during the pregame press conference prior to Maryland, like the reporter asked, I have to ask you because of your history, how are you doing? And she says, yeah, it's fine, but I don't know. She didn't seem real like, yeah, it's not an issue.
I have to ask because of your past, but are you feeling okay coming out of the game?
Physically?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always ups and downs, but yeah, I'm feeling okay.
It's a work in progress, and I don't know. It's just going to be a difficult situation. I obviously have my reservations about it. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see what happens. But as I said, I think he's going to play it like, we'll see what Descharme, what sort of game she brings. If she doesn't have it today, then go Samuels. If she doesn't have it, then we'll go Griffin at the 3, the small forward, and get Ice in at power forward and sort of mix and match and sort of adjust, determined on who has the hot hand of the day. Aaliyah Edwards was Edwards. She was, just very solid, very good. 35 minutes, 4 rebounds, 5 for 8. She's shooting a little bit more from the high post, and she, if they need to respect that shot, that will open things up inside potentially for, running a nice high-low game when she's in there with Brady. And she knows that she needs to develop that for the next level to go to the WNBA. So I'm fine with her taking those shots and just seeing how her game develops over the season. The other pleasing aspect with her is that she stayed out of foul trouble. I think she only got 1 personal foul, and that's going to be a big thing for UConn. If she gets in foul trouble, that really puts them in a bad spot. Now, the last one, Nika Mule, she did some good and bad. She does stuff that just drives me crazy. Like, she had a few fouls that were just ridiculous. Like, she's just over aggressive, and she's always done that. And I think it's a tough adjustment for her not being the lead ball handler at times. She's hitting that the three-pointer in the baseline. She made another one of those. If that could be a money shot for her, that would be a big help for UConn. Overall, how she and Beckers adjust to playing with each other and trading off the ball handling duties and how it works out, that's obviously a massive key to UConn but their backcourt looks good because I like Shade and KK coming off the bench. You'd like a little bit more shooting. That's where you get hurt with losing Fudd. Who knows how long she's out for, but they should be out. If you were going to take an injury, my God, you'd rather it be in the backcourt versus the front court. So that's, again, the silver lining out of this. DeBerry and Betancourt got garbage time minutes. I mean, it's obvious, it's pretty clear that right now DeBerry's still in the doghouse and she's just not going to get time. Now, lastly, even with Fudd's injury, I said I wasn't going to talk about it much, but just touch on it briefly. Just with her injury, we don't know what's going to happen. At least this year, if you're a fan, the silver lining in that is at least they're better built to withstand that. They have a lot of puzzle pieces that they have, and I think for the fans, it's going to be interesting to see how they get put together and how this team gets shaped and molded. I'm really excited to see how he develops the rotations and what it looks like come March. I think if you're a UConn fan, your big thing are the freshmen look damn good and good pieces. They're going to have games where it's up and down, obviously, but they all look really solid and really strong players. And then that mixed in that you have a superstar and Paige Bueckers that makes everybody good. If you have her or you have a Caitlin Clark, you have a chance. And I know South Carolina, everybody loves them, and my God, they look good. The wins they have are no doubt. But the question is, when it gets to, crunch time, who do you have on your team that's going to take that big shot or take control? And I think that might be just the one advantage that UConn might have over South Carolina, but they seem damn loaded. And that should be a fun game when they play them later in the season. But again, they'll go to Minnesota, and we'll be able to see a little bit more of how he plays around with it. And then they're off to the Grand Cayman Islands to play UCLA, which should be a really fun game. UCLA is a really well-rounded team, and that should be a fun matchup and another measuring stick just to see where UConn sits and where they need to get to. Anyway, your comments, Poison, if you think I've gotten anything wrong, let me have it as well. Have I just gone ridiculously too long on this video? If I have and you think I should just keep it to 8 minutes, yeah, happy to do that as well. All your feedback and Poison is welcome. I just had a stream of consciousness and I was so excited from the game. I just wanted to talk about all aspects from Beckers to Griffin to all the rookies and everybody. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you next time. Have a great day.